Good morning and welcome. January 2nd, right in the beginning of 2015, we are going to be here talking about discovering your hidden power and energy. And this is going to be a Google Hangout. We're going to be here just talking about loving yourself to higher energy ground in your personal and professional life. Let me tell you some other things we're going to be talking about. Increase your beauty factor with just a simple shift.
Hey, Rhonda?
She froze.
She froze. Okay, so everybody, we're here on a live.
She's back again.
Did I freeze?
You're back.
Right. So,
okay, so I was
just let people know that it's a live Google Hangout. Anything can happen, and between the three of us, one of us will keep the ball rolling. And if your computer totally freezes and you're having issues, sometimes just logging in and logging back out. But between the three of us, we'll try to keep the ball rolling. All right, so
oh my gosh,
back to Rhonda and what we're going to do.
Okay, first off, I have a question. Was I frozen in a really funny face too? That happened in Google.
You were beautiful. No worries. As always.
Okay, so the real big thing is about reducing stress and.
Now she froze again. So there is something going on with you, Rhonda. You have to find this out. Coming back to. Uh-oh.
All right. So you're going to, let's see. Hold on a second here so we can to the info.
Rhonda has a problem.
Okay. Well, Maria, why don't you and I take over for a minute? We're really excited about our Celebrating 2015 and the self-care team coming together to really help support you in a variety of ways. And we're going to try not to overwhelm you with tips, but each of us are going to give you a couple of really solid takeaways for today. And I encourage you, if you can grab a pen and paper, you may want to take some notes. I have a couple goal-setting things that I'll be offering you. So if you want to do that really quickly, and we'll give it over to Rhonda one more time here to give the list of our bullet points of what we want to cover, because she's got them in front of her and we don't. Yeah.
You know, we'll try this again and just jump in. It's so funny because I can hear you. So if you are here with us live, this is what happens in live Hangouts. So we're here to support you. But we're going to talk a lot about the yoga approach. I really deal with sabotage coaching as a health coach, and then Maria really focuses in on just stepping in as a leader, and a lot about sexuality and some things that stop us. And so we have these three different angles that we're going to go in at. And if you can still hear me, I really want to hear from both of you. Let's start talking about what your goal is. Just give me one big one for 2015. Let's just get this started off with what you're personally doing for yourself. Nicole, why don't you share with us what's going on for you?
All right. Thank you, Rhonda. So for me, I'm really looking at 2015 as being a year where a lot of what I've been working on is going to come together for me. It's already happening. So I know it's going to happen in a bigger way. So as we learn to take better care of ourselves, then our other goals that we have seem to come together. So that's been part of what I've needed to do, is I've needed to figure out what are the particular ways I really need to take care of myself mentally, physically, emotionally, relationships, the whole package. And as I do that more, I have more energy and more power, and that's what we're going to talk about today. So I really feel that in 2015, I'm going to really have the energy and the power to not only achieve my goals, the things that I'm working on, but to really be happy and relaxed and feeling really good about myself and my environment around me while I do it. That's my.
I love that, Nicole. That is beautiful. Maria, I know that you're probably along the lines of what Nicole said, but I know you have your unique look also. So what's happening for you in 2015?
It's wonderful. So as you know, I work with your sexual being, like what it means to be a human being. And sexuality is the core issue of finding your true self and who you really are. And as human beings, we have both masculine and feminine energies. And I used to be the kind of woman who was very heady in my intellect. I've been a university professor for many, many years. I was so much living in my head and separated myself from my physical body. So one of the things I'm working on is to embrace my feminine energy, and in that attracting in love and connection and deepen intimacy into my life. And I know that in the United States, the culture around relationships looks a bit different compared to in Europe, and especially in Scandinavia, in Sweden where I live. We have a very high divorce rate, but I do know that one part of the problem we have in the Western world is high achievers. As women, we are high achieving. We have problems to connect and really bring intimacy, love, and connection into our lives. And that's my goal for this year. And I know that this is also a part of how we create successful business, is to having the whole holistic, like creating it from our feminine side. So that's what I'm working on for this year, 2015.
Wonderful. Maria and Nicole talking about living in the head. I want to go into that definitely more, because that, I think we deal with that a lot, every one of us. And then also just embracing the femininity. Let's talk about that more, because I think even Nicole, you and I can really add into that, since we are mainly working with women. And then also the biggest thing is about what's holding us back. So we're going to go into that first. But I really wanted to tell you what I'm celebrating for 2015 is, first off, yesterday being January 1st, I had a wonderful day with the family. So my connection with my family is really important to me, because that's where it all stems, having that nurturing feeling threaded throughout the whole house, where there's not a lot of stress. So always being really confrontational in a really nice way about how you're feeling, and about making sure that your emotions and how you're feeling, that you're really sharing it with everybody, so everybody's on the same page. And that's what I feel like. Communication is really important. So 2015, communication, and 2014 for me was all about action and moving forward. And so 2015 is more on the sensitive side of, like, let's start opening up and really starting to talk about that, so you can unleash your higher energy. And that's my theme in 2015, unleash your higher energy. So all these things we're going to be talking about today, it's all about energy, opening yourself up to new possibilities. What's stopping you from doing that? And so you're going to be able to hear from all three of us in how we work with our clients and what we've seen that's really stopping us. So you're going to really be able to feel what some of our clients have dealt with, what we personally with, and what we come. Maria, let's go in with, you brought up living in the head, and that's how that really stops us.
Yes, because I think it's very common for both women and men, but we're living in such, we are so goal-oriented, we're so driven, and we are high achievers. So it's something about what it means when you're living in your head. It's like you're having you're surrounded by the mind chatter you're having, which we have all these different kind of voices telling us things, and usually they tell us a lot of negative things, like you're too fat, or you're not good enough, or so there is a lot of noises going on that is part of how we create self-sabotage for ourselves. And for me, I see that, like, so this might, if you don't have the experience of it, but there is something that the transitions that happens when you're capable of turning off the head and actually stepping into the fullness of your body and living from your like energetic body, then you're being much more present in the moment of now. And I mean, I know this is very much what yoga and meditation is about, and access points in there, but also sexuality, which I work with, like sensuality, being fully present, being capable to feel, being present to the feeling of someone's touch. That really takes you into your feminine being. And that means for both men and women, in order to really be able to feel, you have to embrace that feminine. And for me, that's super exciting.
Wow, Maria, you brought up a great point. I just to stop for a moment and talk about the feeling. Like when somebody touches you or you touch somebody else and you hug somebody, I know that for my personal being, before I started really understanding what the difference was from taking care of myself by just working out to stepping into a deeper, connecting the body, mind together, and how the differences are when you really love somebody and you start learning how to open up. It's definitely a big difference because you're going to be able to feel that. Other times, I remember I used to feel numb. Like it just didn't matter if somebody hugged me or not. So I really love that you brought that up because I bet you if you're listening to this, you've probably had moments in your life where you felt that. So that was a real epiphany for me. Thank you.
Yeah. And Rhonda, can I just add on that? Because a lot of people who goes to the gym and are very physical, like they are still doing it from their head. They are not really like present in what it means to be there. So I just want to add that we can think we're physical, but actually what happens is we're still coming from the head, like being so turned off from our physical body.
I love that. Thank you for adding that, Maria. Nicole, going into the head and feeling stuck. Maria brought up about the yoga and the meditation. I know you'll want to add more, but that really made me think about that you'd be able to give some really good tips on what you want to speak about in that area.
That's right, Rhonda. Thank you. Yeah, it's so important. One of the, I think, main yoga tenets that's really big is that living in the present moment, being very aware and very much not thinking about the past. That's where we can move into depression. If we're worried about the future, we move into anxiety. And we also, if we're living in the past or trying to live into the future, we're not going to be aware so much of what's happening in the here and now. We're not going to, feel that hug because we're going to say like I'm protecting myself because of a bad situation in the past, or is that hug going to be there for me in the future? And you're not just enjoying that hug right now in the present moment and take it for what it is. So the techniques of yoga help us to establish that being in that present moment. And like what you said, Maria, is that sometimes people can go work out in the gym or do a yoga asana with a postures practice and still really be in their head about it. And those people often are the ones who are going to overdo it, hurt themselves, not understand why, or just not really get the full benefit of it. So just because somebody works out doesn't mean they know how to really embrace and be in their body. So the techniques of yoga that help us to move our body with awareness and being right in the present moment. That's why I love using the Ananda Yoga affirmations. So if I'm in a balanced pose, like tree pose, I can say, I am calm, I am poised. Then that really gets that body, mind, emotion, spiritual connection all tied in together. And then to breathe. Breathing is a big connection between the mind and the body. And then just being able to center and just fully be in the moment and really be okay with who we are, too. To just really embrace ourselves and just find that when we're still, there is this really happy, joyful, peaceful place. But it's in the present moment. It's not all, if we're always searching for that peaceful, loving moment in the future, that creates anxiety. If we're thinking how it didn't happen for us or we missed something in the past, I mean, that really leads us down towards the depression, or just the simple lack of really enjoying the present moment and really reaching those higher, bigger goals that are not just one-pointed, because like you say, you could be very successful academically, very successful in your business life, but what about your relationships? What about your spiritual life? What about your family, your friends? What about your relationship with yourself? So in my mind, I think what we're all talking about here is true success is not a single point of success in one area of our lives, because that can bring us satisfaction and maybe temporary happiness when we kind of reach a pinnacle or reach a goal, but to really have that fullness of being, that fullness of joy, fullness of satisfaction 24/7, we need to address all the areas of our lives, and that's where what the self-care really comes in, because as women, that's what tends to be lacking, whether we're out in the workplace or we're the mother at home. We need to bring that in and bring in that fullness of experience, and then we truly can reach our highest potential. And I think without that, we will always fall short.
Wonderful. So calm and poised in your tree pose. I got that, Nicole. That was just incredible. So Maria really talking about the touch, the feeling, and really being present. And then Nicole, you really going into the yoga, the breathing. What I tend to do with my clients is right away when you start talking to somebody, especially the first time, and they know that I'm a coach, there's a lot of sabotages that come in to our vocabulary. They will be talking about, like the next thing they want to do. The first thing they usually say, just in the sabotage coaching that I do, is that I don't have time, or they, and those are those little voices. We were talking about the voices that are in the head that instantly stop us from doing things, or that, I don't care, I'm 40 or I'm 50 or I'm 70, I don't care what I look like. And there's these things that we kind of forget who we were, when we were a child. And so with the sabotage coaching is really kind of stepping into kind of brushing off the dullness, brushing off the stuff that makes us hide, and starting to breathe and start listening to ourselves, because the more that we listen to ourselves, the more we'll realize that we're not our best friend sometimes. But as you start listening to yourself and start unraveling those thoughts and the words that don't make you feel good, that make you feel like you're belittling yourself, making you feel like you're not on top of the world, you'll start listening to it, and it'll bring you back to being able to unravel that in your 5-year-old child, your 10-year-old child, that wonderful, sweet person that was so delicate and sensitive and really and present. It's so much easier to build something that's very special from, a workout plan that's going to connect with your family and your personal life and all the love around you, and you become this softer person. All three of us talked about is something that is special, and I truly believe that I've dealt with all three things. That everything you said, it was so true to me depending on the stage that I was in. So really, really good points. And so what I wanted to hear from you, Nicole, and then Maria, is talking about, well, how do you work on transitioning somebody that is really higher in, like, their chakra, like their head, they're on that point where there's a lot of stuff going on in their head, and they want to do something for themselves, but something's still holding them back. So how do you transition them, Nicole?
Right. Thanks, Rhonda. You mentioned the chakras, so let me just say, because not everybody may be familiar with those terms, but they're energy centers in our body. And the higher chakras that, like the forehead, the seat of concentration, our seat of focus and higher thinking, it's also where dopamine is released. It's our feel-good hormones and so forth. But I would venture to say, if somebody is really in their head it's not an issue of their higher chakras up that's located, you know, up higher. That's really their base chakras, because if you're in your head, then that means you're not in touch with your base chakras. So the first chakra is about your survival, about being grounded in your connection with the earth and with that reality. The second chakra is about our creativity, our sexuality, and if, you know, again, if you're not in your body, there's going to be issues there. The third chakra is about how we move in this life and what we are meant to be doing, and that is to integrate all of them. So a lot of people just want to like skip those lower. They go like, oh, they're lower, so I don't want to think about them. I just want to be up here in those higher ones. But you will hit a ceiling, and you will be bumping your head if you don't get down there and work on those other chakras, because it's all about being in balance, of not having issues anywhere. So it's not about suppression. It's not about pretending we don't have those lower three chakras, because we wouldn't be alive if we didn't have them. And when we ignore them, we have problems. We have problems with our relationships. We have problems with our body. We have lots and lots of issues. So we need to, again, as I say, work on all areas of our lives to really help us get there. So I have found that a lot of people, whether they know the chakra energy system or not, that's often what I need to help them with, is to say, yes, we have all these lofty, uplifting things we want to do, but it's got to be grounded. And we've got to be able to look at it, you know, where do we need to be in this moment? So again, coming back to that present moment. And sometimes it's just having the way you work with the yoga postures, you know, a more grounded way of really working, maybe more standing poses might be one. For somebody else, it might be the more like opening, relaxing, releasing poses. But you take it very individually for each person to bring them back into balance. And that's what I love about yoga, is that there's so many different ways and types of doing yoga that you can say, okay, what's my constitution? What's my tendencies? And start developing a yoga plan for that. And that's what I help coach people and help people to do. And then what's going on today in this moment where I might need to tweak it or do it completely different. And I'm doing more coaching of lifestyle and business coaching with people for that same reason, that it all needs to integrate. So that's another thing I am really excited about 2015, is I'm working with more and more people in that integrated way. So a lot of people think yoga is about either just coming to do their physical body, or the meditation, to do something up here, to feel a little calm and peace. And I'm really about the lifestyle now, so that you really can get that full energy and power that we're talking about. Otherwise, you're missing out on so much. So that's what I help people do, because you can find all kinds of yoga techniques for free, you know, Google it, whatever. But how do we, number one, decide what's best for you right now in the present moment, and also as a routine, longer term, with its natural rhythms. And then what are your obstacles? This is what I think is so huge. It's kind of, Rhonda talks about it as the sabotages. You know, what is it that prevents you from fully doing what you need to do in the present moment? So I work a lot with identifying what is it, and again, it's very similar, just different language perhaps of what Maria and Rhonda talk about, and say, okay, you know, is it like because I think I don't have time, because I think I'm too old, because I think you know, I hurt too much, so you know, or you know, whatever it is, we tackle them, because we'll always have obstacles. So that's what I really try to do, is individualize it, and you know, move forward that way, and just say, okay, we know there's an obstacle. What is it? Let's move it. Go around it.
What are those obstacles? You know what, and Maria, I really want to hear about your transitions too. And our next area that we are going to talk about, once I kind of share this area too, is let's start getting into obstacles and how we actually, our personal selves, how we actually go through our transitions too. So Maria, let's talk about your clients and how, and just trying to move them into to their transitions. Also, what you see in your clients, like what's kind of stopping them, and how do you get them into that transition?
You know, it's what I love what Nicole was saying is how important it is to understand that everything you create outside yourself is an expression of how you have transformed on the inside. So for many years, I've been working with hundreds of coaching clients. I was specialized on helping people see one of the worst saboteur voice that really prevents people from stepping into their full leadership and being visible in the world. It's the voice that says, who do you think you are? You have no right for it. Even like it's such a human phenomenon because that stops us from showing up fully. And it also stops us from showing up fully in our business. When I started to work in the area of sexuality also, I started to ask my coaching clients new kind of questions. How is your sex life? And here I had the entrepreneur who had been married for more than 20 years, and she was saying, yeah, you know, my husband, he's not fun any longer. Or I had a woman living in celibate for 10 years and just turned off her sexual energy. So I learned when I started to ask these new kind of questions that people that were in business and were my coaching clients, and they were struggling with creating the thriving business they wanted to have. And even when it like came to on a survival, like they were still in the survival mood. And what I found out was that in their area of sexuality, they were not fulfilled. So that's how I created importance, and that is what Nicole is speaking about. In your second chakra, you handle creativity, but also money, relationship, and sexuality. It's all connected. So if you have blocks there, and if you haven't opened up there, it's going to block you from progressing, moving forward in your life. So what I found out is one of the reasons why a lot of people are, what I say, numbed out. They don't know what they want. They don't even have dreams. They are not used to dreaming. As coaches, we know what it means to dream, and that's what we help clients with. But most people, they are not even used to think in terms of what's my dream, because they are still so hungry and living in such what I call scarcity mode, because they are not fully sexually satisfied. It's like the basic core desire is not yet met. So that's why I think it's so important to see in the whole areas of your life, and not just that's my specialty. What I'm helping my clients with is to help them see that as a leader, you need to be in balance. And one of the things, knowing your essence, knowing who you are, knowing your purpose, like what's your legacy here in the world? And that's questions that are connected. You need to be connected to your spirit in order to know it. So that's one corner. Another is knowing your desire, and that comes from are you capable of speaking your sexual desires? Can you be in communication on a very intimate level with your partner? Do you have a relationship in your life? Are you opening up to relationships? And the third corner is your success, which is just a feedback. Have you managed to get a flow in this energy in all these areas in your life? So what I'm doing when I'm giving my leadership breakthrough sessions with people is I'm helping them to see where they are stuck, because most people are stuck in one of these corners. And that becomes the doorway into also what area are we specializing on working. Is it on the money, or is it on the intimacy, or is it on finding the mission, who you are and what your purpose are, which I say is a more leadership issue.
That is beautiful, Maria. Thank you very much. Both very individual ways of you working with your clients. I love it. So thank you very much for sharing that. When I'm working with a client, it's really about like what we talked about earlier, just about being present and being aware of your surroundings. Because once you start listening to what you're saying, once you start looking at, how you're living, once you start looking at the relationships that you have with people, it all starts coming together and telling a story about where you are at this point. And once that starts unraveling, then we start even talking about the food. So the transition as a health coach for me and guiding somebody is, now that you're aware of what's happening as we're doing journaling, as we are doing our coaching sessions, talking about the food and how they're eating, and they may say, oh, I'm eating great. And so what I'll have them do, just to be realistic about what they're doing, is start documenting their food for their transition, because sometimes they'll find out that they're eating more than what they thought they were eating, and it wasn't very good food, even though originally they said they were eating well. And then, or it's that they're not eating enough. So there's always those ahas that start happening. And then with all those areas of the awareness and then also really documenting the food, you start really connecting everything together, because the food also is how we live our life. A lot of us eat through our food, and so as we are stressed, as we're really happy, as we're bored, I have a client that always tells me, I'm doing great, Rhonda, but I'm starting to get in my slower season in my business, and so I'm concerned that I'm going to be eating more. So whatever it is, what's wonderful about connecting with the food is that it starts your transitioning happening, because as you start seeing your ups and downs in your emotions, and you start watching what you're doing with your food, all of that starts coming where you have more control, and you start feeling, and that gives you the power, the energy to feel like you have a lot of say in your life. And I feel that the clients that I've seen throughout these years is that we feel like that's been taken from us, that we don't really have the say in our life, because, you know, we may be a mom, a wife, or a partner, or
All right, Rhonda.
I'm missing you. So maybe, Rhonda, if you have some windows that are open, maybe you can close them.
Oh, okay, there she, I think she's back. Okay.
I don't have any windows open. I don't have any windows open.
What?
So am I back, Lee?
You're back.
Okay.
So you're telling us the last thing about, like, maybe if you're a mom or you have a partner, or
Oh, good. So you didn't lose me too much.
no.
But it's about us losing our power, you know, because we feel like we're speaking for everybody, you know, to somebody else else's schedule. So it's about really taking back that energy, and you start feeling like you have more of the power to be able to, you know, make better choices for yourself, instead of feeling like, oh, I'm doing this for somebody else. Instead, you start living your life, you know, not just taking care of everybody else, but starting to take care of yourself. And so the transition happens where you start really looking at your schedule and realizing that you do have time in your schedule. It's just maybe you just didn't allow yourself that. And then you start implementing things that make you feel good, and you start really learning back about, you know, as you were a child, all the fun things that you really enjoyed. And, you know, the creativity time that you really enjoyed to help open up your mind and feel really good. And finding, you know, just 2 minutes or an hour, depending on how much time you want, to really start implementing new things for yourself, and it becomes a new journey. And I start seeing my clients, instead of saying they're afraid to step into eating differently or afraid of something, I start seeing more of a smile, and I see their shoulders up nice and tall. It's just a wonderful process to get them in transition. So this is what I think this is going to be really fun, because this is where I think we're going to show our true, authentic self. So I want to start with you, Maria. Please share something that you've been struggling with lately, how you personally get in alignment, and get yourself back, like a reset for yourself. And I'd love that from you, Nicole, too.
I love that question, Rhonda, because I think it's this is something we usually have a lot of shames around, and we don't speak about it. And being a business owner, it can look so easy. We see other people being a role model, but it's really a conscious choice on what it means to step into a path and follow through. And what I have been struggling with is I have had so much resistance to really step into my full power and be visible out there, that I wasn't even aware how much the resistance was. And the resistance shows up in many different ways, like how you're identifying your niche, for instance, or how you communicate your compelling message. Like there is, which I'm still tweaking, but there is so many ways the resistance shows up. So now we have a back echo here. Okay, so it's gone. So I think another way how resistance shows up is not taking good care of myself. One way for me that is really important is to be grounded in the morning, which happens by I'm doing my yoga, I'm doing my meditation, and that's a good start on my day. But in times when I'm in resistance, my yoga practice is just fading away. So it takes discipline to get back there, and I think this is part of everybody has to find their own ways, but just one way is to connect with you two guys, and having these conversations has actually helped me to be more consistent in my practice. So I have actually, since we started this Google Hangouts series, I have lost both weight, I have come back to my yoga practice, and I'm eating much more healthy just by having this conversation with you. So that's my way. I think how I'm just dive into spend time with people who you like to become like.
You know, Maria, it's all about group. You know, it's not an individual, journey, and that's what's wonderful. I love that you brought that up, and I love the authenticity that you gave also, because this is hard. It's like we're exposing ourselves in a wonderful way, because just to be able to share our struggles, that somebody else is listening and they're going to learn from it. So Nicole, please share.
Yeah, it's all about, in yoga we call it satsang. It's the community that it's really important to be around other like-minded people. Your environment is so important to your success. So if you are hanging out with complainers and gossipers and people who aren't taking care of themselves, that's what's going to happen to you. If you are hanging out with people who are motivated and really want to excel and find balance in their lives, that's going to help you. So that's community is so important, and I think all three of us offer community in the programs, as well as what we're doing together here and bringing you on to share with that. I'm going to step back and just mention one thing that is so confusing for so many people when it comes to yoga, or not even in the yoga world too, but that concept of sexuality. Because some people say, like, wait, wait a minute, I thought, aren't the yoga masters celibate, or I've heard about the yoga where it's all about sex, the tantra yoga, or something like that. And so what I would say is, what we all are saying is you've got to bring yourself into balance. You cannot live in denial. You have to live in the present moment and have some awareness. So sexuality, if you're off and you're just having multiple partners and your whole thing is about sex, or if it's, if your self-identity is tied to that, it's like, oh my gosh, nobody's having sex with me, so I must be a terrible person. That's all out of balance. Or there's that moderation. You have your partner, and you want it. That's part of how you communicate, of how you are intimate and share with your partner. You can also be celibate because that's your lifestyle, and you're so happy and feel so complete in yourself that it's not an issue. Celibacy because you're just like going, that's not healthy. But that celibacy that's like, wow, I'm just feeling so empowered and where I am in my life now. I don't even need to think about it because I'm just feeling my power, my happiness, and my energy. So again, it's all about balance and not having the hang-ups about things and not having the issues or the self-sabotages. So I just wanted to say that because so many people get so confused with that. So for me, I think one of the things that I've been really working on is I've led a very active life, had lots of, I think I may mention surgery and pain in different ways. And one of the things that's in these latter years I've developed allergies to common foods, so not only like the gluten and too much dairy, but preservatives. And it is so hard to, at home I can, not have any preservatives in my house. But like we're just on, a vacation to Belize, or you go visit somebody, or you just want to go out to lunch with your friend. It's really, really hard. And if I eat the foods with preservatives, I get what's called systemic swelling. So I swell and puff up everywhere. And especially where I've had injuries like my knees, my neck, my wrists, I can get in so much pain that just to sit up and down, to get up and off the toilet seat is painful and not a happy experience. So it also makes me tired and a little foggier brain, so all these things. So what I've had to do is so there's that being careful what I eat, but again, it's always more than just one thing. So, and I also have just kind of learned that a more vegan diet is what gives me energy too. So in order to really work on my diet, I have to make sure I'm getting enough sleep. Because if I'm not getting enough sleep, I'm going to tend to crave things and not be as careful, for example. And just like Maria was saying, how important it is to get your morning started right. So I go like, okay, I'm going to get my morning started right. But if I'm just like foggy-headed and pain and all that, it's really hard to get the morning started right. And I get my eating off, so that becomes circular. Same thing with with moving my body. If I'm not feeling good, it's going to be harder for me to exercise and to move around and do the things I need to do. So it's kind of, I feel like sometimes I'm circling the wagons. It's like, okay, now I got to focus on getting some more movements and exercise. Now I need to focus more on the breathing and that detoxifying. Now I need to focus more on the centering. Now I need to focus on planning ahead my schedule so that I'll go to bed at the right time and get enough sleep. So it's all of these lifestyle things, and so that's what I feel like in 2014 I've gotten better and better at circling the wagons, the sleep, food, exercise, relationships, all of those things. And then like Rhonda was talking about earlier too, it's just like we can then get so caught up in how we're supposed to do this and how we're, it's like, okay, I'm the yoga master, the yoga coach, so I got to do it right and, be that good example, that we get, again, back up into our head and say, like, wait, who am I really? Where's my joy? Why am I here in the first place? And to remind myself that as I'm working all these things, to just, look around and to see the beauty of the moment. And remember, what it's all about and why I'm doing it. I don't have to be perfect. I just keep moving forward. I just keep moving forward on that. So we all will have challenges. We will always have the obstacles. So what it's really about is how do we get rid of the self-sabotages? How do we get rid of the issues and the hang-ups so that we can always, well, it's rarely a straight line, but we can keep moving forward. We can keep blossoming. We can keep growing our energy, our power, our bliss level. So I'm just feeling really happy and blissful now. I mean, with all of you and talking about it, it's really, really exciting because I feel like I felt that, made that foundation to just really go with that, go forward, and excited I'm bringing my clients along and working with the fabulous colleagues like both of you.
Okay, I'm loving this conversation. Okay, with Maria talking, I know we're going to use the word SEX, sex. Now we have our yoga person talking about sex. So let's just bring it out in the open. This is a big component of our lifestyle, and that all these tips that it's all linked together. So thank you for just being out there and being just total realistic about life. My hardship this December was that it started off really good. December's here, I'm fine, I'm eating healthy, everything feels balanced. But happen in your family, and this is why I want to bring this up and be truthful about this, is that Jeff, my husband, he is starting as a partner in a new business, and it has taken our family in this little whirlwind of stuff. So sometimes, you know, have very stable family because we just kind of get in our schedule and we just kind of do our thing. And then when something big like this happens, with, you know, your husband or somebody in your family having a big shift, with Jeff having this whole new thing happen for him, it's a whole new thing for me too, because I think we all play roles in our family to keep all the dynamics going. And so I found myself by mid-December eating tons of sugar. So I have to tell you first, though, it's not that I went out and sought the sugar. My clients decided they wanted to be sweet enough this year to give me sugar. Usually I'm getting on these nice little gifts. They took it from their and baked them some wonderful cookies and breads and stuff, and I was just. And then, and I was thanking everybody, and we were all laughing because I work with groups and I work with individuals too, and just laughing about the fact that they're giving me sugar. Like, this is what I'm coaching on. You know, like, you can eat sugar, you can, but there's always a balance, like what Nicole and what Maria said. And so basically, I went overboard. And the reason why, and this is something to really come back to, is when this happens, it's not just that I love sugar. The thing was that mentally I wasn't feeling very good because I was just trying to kind of work through this process. And so the biggest thing how I got out of it is starting to listen to myself, because I noticed I wasn't saying all the positive things to myself that I normally do. And I wasn't in my morning ritual also, because to start your morning off, that's what we've been talking about today too, is your morning ritual about getting yourself balanced so you can get your day going. So I started really looking at what I was doing in the morning and what I was doing for myself to give myself energy. And the other thing was to listen to myself so I could readjust. And I found that I was just in chaos in my head. Earlier we were talking about the voices. There's stuff that happens with our head that there's something back here chattering. Well, just start listening to it. And you can do it through meditation. You can do it through breathing. You can do it through being present with just yourself, and then with the people around you when somebody's talking to you, looking at them and not looking at your phone. And so Maria and Nicole, let's start with you, Nicole. Can you tell me what, from your heart, what you have going right now, and how that is helping your clients, and why you put a package together, and like the main stuff you're doing for 2015? Could you share that?
Right. So with the concept of 2-minute yoga, you know, it's a lot of it's just taking those baby steps and just being consistent. You know, starting to have a routine, whatever that takes. So I'm unveiling a series of just like 5-day programs, like 5 days to learn the meditation basics, 5 days to learn the breathing basics. You know, five days for learning to just do some basic yoga moves that are going to help your core and your center, in 5 days to get some energy flowing. So that's new. Those are going to be starting to be released within like the next week or so. And so I'll be announcing those. And then the 90-day programs that can take you through a whole year, where every 90 days we focus on the breathing, the centering, meditation techniques, the core and body strength, and then the energy as well. And so I'm just really excited that we've almost gone through the first year of these, and what I'm really pleased about is just from day one, people were saying, oh my gosh, I'm already sleeping better. Oh, I'm feeling better from day one. But then also just, again, in that community of working with everybody, I'm really ready to take it to the next level in terms of the production of it, and you know, making it an even more dynamic, user-friendly experience, technically, as well as the support and so forth. So I'm really excited. Those are sort of the core programs that I'm offering, and then the coaching is, I think, just starting to taking off for people who want the one-on-one. So the group stuff's really great. It's essential, but then doing some more one-on-one where we can really laser in, focus on people, and get them to really be in the present moment identify the obstacles, get over the obstacles, and have the support. And every time you fall down, have somebody that's helping pick you up, dust you off, and say, it's okay. You know, we all do this. It's part of the process. So the short programs, the 90-day programs that take us through the year, and the one-on-one coaching. It's those three things. And I'm just really super excited about them. Started a new Facebook group. Is starting up in 2015 that just anybody can join. It's like a stress-free zone, so that we can all be together in community.
Love you, love that, Nicole. Love it. I said I love you too. I do.
Yeah, I love you. I love you, Rhonda and Maria. Yeah.
Maria, what's happening for you in 2015 that you're able to connect with your clients and be able to help them with the stuff we've been talking about?
Yeah, and it's really, this is so interesting because it's really like the work I'm doing with my clients. It's so much also the work I'm doing for myself. So right now I'm building a community of really powerful women who so here's the thing. Everything comes to relationship. Everything comes to your ability to be true, authentic, speaking the truth, being honest, and being willing to open up to vulnerability. This is how you really create relationship and communities and lives. But in order to be there, you have to start with yourself. So I have this 30 days, for women I call it 30 days of flirting. It's a group program. It has a structured process. And it's the first step into, I'm right now building a tribe on conscious love, because I think that leadership for me is really about being conscious about the choices you're having. And my research have found out the difference, like people who being conscious on sexuality, how they also step out being much more conscious in their leadership. Because it's about how your ability to be able to feel other people, like really feeling them, and also responding to situations. But first you have to be willing to feel and touch yourself on that deep, deep inner core. So in my program, every week there is a new topic, and it's a beautiful process. Women who join, they come back and they do it over and over again, because every time you do it, and depending on where you are, there's different things coming up for you in your life. So some of the women who join, they think flirting is about dating, but flirting is with life. For me, flirting is a whole new mindset about how you want to show up in life. So that's the first step. Next step is to learn, when you have learned to flirt with yourself and being fully appreciative of yourself, and you connect in the community with other people, the next is to learn how to flirt with money. And that's a 90 days group coaching program where we bring that same, because the first step is knowing your sexual being and understanding how you can create manifestation from it, and you're starting to play with it, and then we bring it out to the area of money, where we work also with the sacred money archetype, so you will know your specific unique relationship to money. And for me, that was such huge life transformative to know that I had a financial life purpose that's so aligned into my heart of who I am and what I represent. And that's my guidance right now. And I just want to bring this out to more people so they can have that. So what I'm saying is, like, my community of women that wants to be in this 30 days with me, the structure I created is so much also for myself to every Sunday being on call and having like a meet on a teleline, and we're having this conversation about the experience they had during the week. It's so much also the game for me to remember what it means to stay connected, what it means to be vulnerable and open and authentic, and really like on a very micro level with yourself, bring that out to life. So that's that's how I'm working.
I love that. Some great stuff, sounding like you're able to transition somebody into being in their head to being able to move forward and really be present and just learning a lot about themselves. The areas that I personally love working in is everything.
All right, Rhonda. Are you okay? All right, so Rhonda, I'm sure is going to be back with us in just a moment. So maybe what we'll do is just let people know that how they can get a hold of us. There's a couple of ways. When you registered, there was a workbook, put your notes on it, with gifts from all three of us so that you will have something to work with to inspire you and keep you moving. And my gift was it's an ebook of 7 steps to help to get rid of your stress and low back pain. It's built on the Move Breathe Center that I've been talking about. So it looks like Rhonda's back with us, so I'm just telling people about the gifts that they can make sure that they take advantage of. So Maria, what was your gift? And then we can go back to Rhonda, her gift, and her closing statements.
Yes. So my gift is a series of a teaching around how sex and money impact you as a leader, but this is very much about what it means to be a woman, like how it impacts us as women. And actually, I'm having 4 really powerful women I'm interviewing in this series. So it's a Google Hangout series, and one of them is Rhonda. And it's just open, like what I'm doing is I'm open new perspective to people. So this teaching is just going to open up new perspective of understanding what you're capable of as a woman.
Oh, good. So yeah, my gift is a 5 video series and really focusing in on the 3 areas I work on, which is food and having your movement, going for walks, doing what makes your body feel good. And then the other area is sabotages and really being able to clear your mind. And so that's a free video series I want you to step in and enjoy. And that really lines up with the type of services that I do too. And you have a whole month you can spend with me. I'm starting a detox this Monday, and it is focused in on community, and it's focused in on, of course, what you're eating. And so there's 17 plus recipes for the first 7 days that really help you step into eating clean throughout the whole day. We have a private Facebook group, so there's coaching too, so there's extra support, because it's always important to have that extra support when you're going through your detox, because you are really giving information in your body as you're eating, and as you're cleaning it, it becomes very emotional and it becomes stressful sometimes too. But what comes out of spending the time doing this is that you start not having cravings, you start really feeling good emotionally about things, especially because every day you get inspiration with this private Facebook group and emails that you're getting to help give you extra support. Also, along with that, it happens every quarter, and along with that, you also can step into another area called Fit Camp, and it does the same thing of really working with those components, but at a different level. And also, Fit Solution, 14 days to a flat belly. So it's all about inflammation and being able to translate that in your body to be able to clean your body and to emotionally be present and be there to have the physical change within the 14 days. So I hope you could all hear that. Did that work?
Yes, we got that.
Well, thank you for hanging out with us. Now, if you're getting this in recording, you can even do some notes below if you're seeing it in YouTube. We'll make sure we get the workbook to you so you have it along with the video. If you signed up for it and you're here, I want you to interact with the workbook. There's a great story about all 3 of us. I hope you really enjoyed our time together because we had a great time. It was very fun. Happy New Year. Can't wait to hear more about what everybody's doing for 2015. We're going to come back as the international self-care team. And so you'll be hearing more from us. So catch up with you soon. Have a fit day, and we appreciate you being part of our journey too. Thank you.
Joy to you.